The Asian Development Bank, or ADB, has kept Pakistan's economic growth forecast unchanged at 3.7% for the current fiscal year, while projecting inflation at 8.3%, slightly higher than the government's estimate. In its Asian Development Outlook July 2026, the Manila-based lender also lowered its growth forecast for developing Asia and the Pacific to 4.9% for 2026, down from 5.5% in 2025 and 0.2 percentage points lower than its April projection. According to the ADB, prolonged disruptions to global energy markets caused by the Middle East conflict have had a greater impact on the region's economic outlook than previously expected. However, it maintained its 2027 regional growth forecast at 5.1%, anticipating a recovery in economic activity as these pressures gradually ease. The report said disruptions to global energy markets are expected to ease only gradually despite a framework agreement signed in June. It added that the impact has extended beyond energy to fertilizer prices, other commodities, and supply chains, meaning inflationary pressures are likely to continue. The ADB now expects regional inflation to average 4.3% this year, up from 3% in 2025 and 0.7 percentage points higher than projected in April. Its inflation forecast for 2027 remains unchanged at 3.4%. ADB chief economist Albert Park said that while a durable implementation of the June framework agreement would help stabilize global energy markets, the pace of adjustment remains highly uncertain and carries significant downside risks. He added that economic growth across developing Asia and the Pacific remains resilient, but persistent pressure caused by the conflict require governments to carefully balance supporting growth while containing inflation. ADB also warned that renewed conflict and prolonged geopolitical uncertainty could further tighten energy markets, increase inflationary pressures, and raise external risks. It said tighter global financial conditions, higher borrowing costs, widening fiscal deficits, elevated trade policy uncertainty, and rising fertilizer prices also pose risks to economic growth, agricultural output, and food security. For individual economies, the ADB kept China's growth forecast unchanged at 4.6% for 2026 and 4.5% for 2027. India's growth forecast for 2026 was revised down to 6.6% due to higher energy costs affecting domestic demand, while its 2027 forecast remains at 7.3%. Growth projections for Southeast Asia and the Pacific were also lowered, reflecting weaker domestic demand, slower tourism, rising inflation, and higher import costs.